What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's analysis. We're going to be looking at MicroStrategy today. We had a nice move yesterday. We closed underneath this long-term trend line on the daily, but price held up very well, insanely well. And we were talking about it too, where we were saying we're either going to start chopping in this zone and break down, or we're going to chop in this zone. And it looks like this is the scenario that's potentially going to play out. Not guaranteed, of course. And I also did say there's a chance that we could get a large engulfing candle, and then it ends up being a wick on the weekly. And that looks to be playing out, but it's not guaranteed yet because the week isn't over and we have CPI coming out in an hour and anything could happen. This could turn back. This daily could be pretty much a reciprocal of a red candle that just wipes this whole thing out. So hopefully not, and we just get another massive green candle. That would be amazing. Back to back huge green candles. But I mean, we went from 240 to 297. I mean, that was crazy. Crazy. It was 22.6. I mean, I'm going to go on the hourly. Yeah, so I was taking a little nap for like 20 minutes between this time and somewhere in this region. And I thought when I woke up, I thought my phone was like glitching or something. I thought it was showing like last week's price. I don't even know, or I don't know what I thought was going on, but this thing went from 240 when I took my nap, and I woke up and it was already like 285 or something. I was just baffled. It ended up holding, which was pretty cool, but it's because of tariffs. The tariff from Trump, they ended up pausing for 90 days. So we'll see how it plays out. Maybe other countries will come to the US and say, hey, we want free trade. Don't worry about it. Let's just be even. And, maybe the whole global economy can prosper if that were the case. So we'll see how it plays out. Things are still looking good, but now we are focused on this secondary trend line now. So we had this primary trend line that we broke out, retested. So this trend line is definitely in play. This is definitely in play, but we got to break and retest and hold this horizontal level. So we surpassed this, and now our main focus is this trend line here. Once we break this, things can start getting really fun, because now we're going to be looking at this minor level of resistance here, 348 to about 356. We might get a little chop there, but if we break and retest that, we're going to be pushing up to this zone here. But if we crack that, I think this thing's going to go crazy. But on the SMAs, wow, look at that. Jesus. Wow. Huh. Beautiful. We were underneath the 200-day, which was a terrible sign. It was very bearish. And now we said, forget that. We went from the underneath the 200, a close. So a close, not that we were just underneath it. We closed underneath it. So we literally got the best case scenario for now, and a nice engulfing candle. I mean, I was talking about an engulfing candle to the, up here, but past this level of support and resistance, crazy. Almost to the 20, and now we're playing with the 20 and 50. So if we crack that 20 and 50, oh man, if we get the momentum behind us, this thing could go crazy. But, we could still have some sideways chop for now, but that's a bullish sign. And we got a strong bounce off the 50. So these other touches were they were almost touches off the 50. Sure, you can call them touches, but this was a definite touch here. We definitely touched the 50, and we got a freaking crazy rocket move off of here. And we haven't even touched the 50 since the initial breakout in 2023 of March. So I don't know. I think that might be a kickstart to this next move. So we will see, because we literally have not touched it, because the 20 was kind of holding us up this entire time on the weekly. So this is a very bullish sign. I'm excited. But I'm not going to get too excited because I know the market flips just as quick as it flipped. As quick as it flipped to here, it could flip right back down, and we're, next thing you know, we're headed towards 180. And we're like, oh man, that was a quick, unsustainable move. So, see how it plays out. But for now, it's looking good. On the Bollinger Bands, we close outside. As I always say, we don't spend too much time outside the Bollinger Bands. We close outside for one day, and next thing you know, we're already at the blue band. It's like a trampoline effect on both of these. On the red and the green, it's a trampoline. Down to the blue, that's all you're doing. Bouncing from the outer bands to the blue, outer bands to the blue. All day, it's just a ping pong. So we shot back up to the blue. We're closed right on it, slightly underneath. On the weekly, a strong bounce off this Bollinger Band, which, if you look at it, there's confluence out of this world. I mean, you had this horizontal level of support, you had the great upward sloping trend line, you had this downward white sloping trend line with the Bollinger Bands, along with the 50 SMA. I mean, that was a lot, and the 200-day SMA underneath it. So I mean, you had like 7 things underneath price that it allowed price to just trampoline up. So very bullish, amazing, looks good. On the RSI, we go with the daily first. That is a great sign. That looks very bullish. So let's see if this is sustainable and we can get above this yellow moving average and make our way up to the top band and get to overbought territory. Right now we're in the middle. On the weekly, we kind of have the same thing. We could potentially be getting a bounce here off of this right here. As you can see, we've had a couple of retests of this zone before rallying up. So maybe this is just a repeat of these 2 moves here. So I think this 45 is definitely a significant number here. So we will see how it plays out. On the daily MACD, we're starting to look good as well. So we had the red volume start kicking up to the downside and it was looking bad. And then now you can see it's starting to dwindle down. We want to see that continuation and start forming some green candles like that, and see this blue overtake that orange and push to the upside, showing volume behind price. And when MicroStrategy gets volume behind it, it's game over in a good way. If you're a bull, it's bad it's game over in a bad way if you're short. This thing is starting to, it's just kind of steadily just going down on the weekly MACD, which is a good sign. I would like to see it, speed up a little bit to the downside, or to the upside, I'm sorry, seeing this shrink and start getting something like this, where we can get that long sustainable move with an increase in volume. Overall, everything looks super bullish though, and things look to be playing out for now. And we're still on pace for our standard targets that we keep speaking of. So we'll see how it plays out, of course, where we have this pull for our targets up here. Looks like it's playing off pretty well. We're getting a play off the 382 here. And let's see if we can make it to the 2272. And let's see if we get a little stop here at the 1618. And if we pull it to this pull here, you can see that in this bottom, you can see a strong move here. And the 1618 was definitely a level that it bounced off of after we touched the 2618 and the 2272. So that's definitely going to be in play, I would imagine, on this next leg up. And to the flip side, we have, to the flip side, we have the golden zone that we broke underneath on the daily. So as you can see, we had our golden zone here, 0.5 to 0.618. We closed underneath it, and now we just closed back within. That's a great sign. It's a strong continuation to the upside. And now let's see if we can continue that move. And on a larger scale, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit more, pull it even deeper down. On a larger scale, on the daily, so on the weekly, we're still moving, so we haven't officially closed, but on the daily, we have closed above this level here, which is actually closed right on it, the 0.5. So we're right on the 0.5, which is that top level of this support zone. So hopefully we can get a close outside of it, retest, and rally up. And I still think it's extremely bullish. My views haven't changed even when we were just down the other day. I think these measured targets could play out. As you can see, the first one pretty much called this move, and then I fixed this one to call this next one, and we'll go from the bottom. I guess this wouldn't even be the, I guess we could start from here, or we could go from this one. Either way, it kind of puts you in the same ballpark, but it's still within this region of the 2272 and the 2618, which is good. Beautiful sign. Definitely would love to see that. On Bitcoin, we swept these previous highs. Things are looking good. And then we're going to pull up the global liquidity. And like I've stated in previous videos, this move here is much larger than these past two. So this move here was shorter than this one. This one was longer than this one. And this leg is larger than these two. So let's see what ends up happening. I mean, let's see. This move here was 92%. This move was 107. But then this leg is even higher, and it's still pushing up higher. Look at that. That looks amazing. So if this leg is much higher than the one that's 107, let's see what happens. Let's see, maybe we run up 130%, something amazing, something that we're not even expecting, or even higher. So let's see. I'm excited to see what happens. We definitely still have that lag going on. Let me pull up the daily so we get a better view, because now this is the fresh low here off of this day, March 7th. So we'll go from the bottom of liquidity to March 7th. It's 98 days, or I'm sorry, so it'd be 96 days, sorry, 96 days. So we're still here. We haven't even started the move yet, because initially we thought that we were here at this candle. So with this move here, I was saying, oh, well, maybe we're halfway up, or maybe we're at this first leg. That's what this little move was. But no, once we put in a fresh low here, that let us know that that's not where we are. We're still here. So we were still, at this point, we were still in this region here, headed downward. So we weren't even bottoming yet. So maybe this was the bottom. We will find out. CPI comes out bad, or some kind of economic data comes out bad, we could push down further, and it pushes it out more. But right now, things are looking good. Global liquidity's spiking. I mean, this could be a very long, sustainable move, as long as economic data doesn't get in the way of it. You know, tariffs, and then along with CPI or PCE, any kind of inflation report, or unemployment. So those are going to be a thing. Or if the Fed decides to hike rates or anything like that, that could affect it. But if we get something that's just, it's a quiet economy, things are just still remaining okay, this thing could rally up and follow global liquidity to some crazy levels that we couldn't even imagine, in my opinion. But we'll see. MSTR divided by Bitcoin. What a freaking move. Look at that. So we've been riding down this trend line. We got a false breakout, what we thought was a false breakout, because we closed back within here. And it looks like it was just retesting, just like MicroStrategy, and a crazy move. I mean, look at this candle. Crazy. So that's a bullish sign. Shows that MicroStrategy is outperforming Bitcoin. So we want to see a continued move on that. And we do need to break above this trend line. So we might have some resistance when we get up to this 43, 42 region. We'll see how it plays out. And the most important one that we need to look at, I mean, global liquidity is very important in my opinion, but this one's very important. The S&P 500, we officially hit bear market territory when we hit, I think it was 49 something, 49.15, because that's 20% down from the recent high, which means you're in bear market territory. But we got a freaking close. We moved from open to close a 10% day on the S&P 500. S&P 500 normally returns 10% in a year. So this is looking super bullish. We had this long-term trend line drawn out previously. So this was established a while back, and we just closed back within that. So that's very bullish. If we get a strong bounce here and rip up higher, that could be a very bullish sign, and that's going to bring risk assets up with it, like Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, everything, SoFi, NVIDIA, Google, everything. So that's all I have for you guys, though. I'll see you in the next one.